The USS Albacore sliced through the dark waters of the Pacific. It was November 1944, and the submarine had already carved its name into naval legend with a string of daring victories. But now, as it patrolled the treacherous waters near Hokkaido, something was wrong. The crew moved with practiced precision, their voices low, their eyes sharp. Every man knew the stakes. Then, without warning, the ocean swallowed them whole. One moment, the Albacore was there, a shadow beneath the waves. The next, it was gone, vanished as if the sea itself had decided to keep its secrets. No distress call, no wreckage, no trace. The last anyone heard, it was heading into enemy waters, its fate sealed by the silent, crushing depths. Theories swirled. Was it a mine, a torpedo, or something more sinister? The truth went down with the ship, leaving only questions in its wake. The Albacore had fought hard, but the ocean had claimed another soul, and the mystery of its disappearance would haunt the waves for decades to come. The USS Albacore wasn't just another submarine, it was one of the deadliest hunters of World War II. With 11 victorious patrols under its belt, this boat struck fear into the heart of the enemy. But its crowning achievement? Sinking the mighty Japanese carrier Taiho, a blow that sent shockwaves through the Imperial Navy. Every mission it ran, every torpedo it fired, added to its legend. The crew knew they were part of something special. And the Navy? Well, they couldn't have been prouder. The Albacore wasn't just a ship, it was a symbol of what American grit and ingenuity could do under pressure. And when it came to turning the tide in the Pacific, this submarine was right at the front of the fight.
Now let me tell you about this submarine. It's a real beast of the deep. Stretching out at 311 feet long, with a beam just over 27 feet wide, it's built to dominate the ocean. On the surface, it can hit speeds of 21 knots, slicing through the waves like a knife.
But when it dives beneath the surface, it doesn't slow down too much, still pushing 9 knots underwater. And if you're wondering about endurance, this thing has legs, 11,000 nautical miles of range, meaning it can go just about anywhere without breaking a sweat. It's not just a submarine, it's a force to be reckoned with. The USS Albacore was a force to be reckoned with, packed with firepower that made it a nightmare for the enemy. At its core were 10 torpedo tubes, 6 up front and 4 at the stern, ready to unleash a barrage of destruction with just a single salvo. These weren't your average torpedoes. They were fast, deadly, and could strike with precision, turning the tide of any battle in an instant. But the Albacore wasn't just about underwater strikes. On deck, it carried a 3-inch gun, a versatile weapon that could take on surface ships or shore targets with equal ferocity. Whether it was shelling an enemy vessel or providing cover for a retreat, that gun was a game-changer, giving the crew options when they needed them most. And then, there were the anti-aircraft weapons, because the skies were just as dangerous as the seas. With machine guns at the ready, the Albacore could fend off enemy planes, keeping bombers at bay and ensuring the sub stayed safe even when exposed on the surface. It was this combination of firepower, torpedoes for stealth attacks, the deck gun for direct combat, and anti-aircraft defenses for protection that made the Albacore so effective. Every piece of its armament had a purpose, and together they turned the sub into a relentless hunter. Whether it was sinking enemy ships or surviving brutal engagements, the Albacore's weapons were the key to its success, proving time and again that this sub was built to dominate. The crew of the submarine held their breath as the periscope cut through the waves, the vast expanse of the Pacific stretching out before them. The Taiho, a monstrous Japanese carrier, loomed in the distance, its deck bristling with planes and guns. The captain's voice was steady, calm as he gave the order. Fire 1, fire 2. The submarine shuddered as the torpedoes launched, streaking through the water like silent predators. Minutes ticked by, each second stretching into eternity. Then, a distant roar split the air. A plume of fire and smoke erupted from the Taiho's side, twisting metal and chaos in its wake. The carrier listed, its once proud hull now a crumpled mess. Men scrambled on deck, their shouts lost in the wind as the ship began its slow, inevitable descent into the depths. The crew erupted in cheers, but the captain stood silent, watching as the Taiho vanished beneath the waves. It was June 19th, 1944, and in that moment, they knew they had struck a blow that would echo through history. The ocean swallowed the last of the flames, leaving only the quiet ripple of victory in its wake. The USS Albacore sliced through the dark waters of Midway's harbor, her engines humming low and steady as she pulled away from the dock. It was the 24th of October, 1944, and the crew knew this patrol might be their last. The air was thick with tension, the kind that comes when men know they're sailing into the devil's own hunting grounds. Captain Haynes stood on the bridge, his eyes scanning the horizon. The orders were clear: head north toward Hokkaido, where Japanese supply lines ran thick and deadly. But between them and their target lay a gauntlet of minefields, silent and waiting, and patrol craft that prowled like wolves in the night. One wrong move, one misstep, and the Albacore would be sent to the bottom without a second thought. The crew moved with practiced ease. each man lost in his own thoughts, but bound by the same purpose. The sonar operator kept his ears sharp, listening for the telltale ping of an enemy's active search. The lookouts peered into the blackness, knowing that a single flicker of light could mean the difference between life and death. As the Albacore cleared the harbor and turned toward open water, the weight of what lay ahead settled over them all. The Japanese weren't just defending their waters, they were hunting. And the Albacore was about to step right into their crosshairs. The USS Albacore had been running silent and deep, cutting through the dark waters like a shadow. Then, in an instant, everything changed. A deafening blast tore through the hull, metal groaning as the pressure of the ocean crushed in. The crew, men who had trained for this but never truly prepared for it, were lost in the chaos. The sub twisted and buckled, the sea claiming it without mercy. There was no time for distress signals, no chance for escape. The Albacore and its 85 souls vanished into the abyss. Back home, the Navy held out hope, scanning the waves for any sign. But as days turned to weeks, the truth settled in. On December 21st, the call came down. The Albacore and its crew were presumed lost. No wreckage, no survivors, just the cold certainty of the deep. The families were told with heavy hearts, the words carrying the weight of finality. The war went on, but for those 85, the fight was over. The sea had taken them, and the sea would keep them. In the quiet depths of the Pacific, a research vessel from the University of Tokyo made a discovery that would rewrite a piece of naval history. It was 2022 when their sonar first picked up the faint outline of something massive resting on the ocean floor. The team knew they had found a wreck, but they couldn't be sure what or who it had once been. Months later, in February of 2023, the answers came into focus. High-definition images from their remotely operated vehicle revealed the unmistakable shape of a submarine, its hull covered in decades of sediment but still bearing the marks of its past. The data poured in, and with each new scan, the pieces fell into place. The dimensions matched. The design was unmistakable. This was the USS Albacore, a vessel lost to the sea for over 70 years. The team worked tirelessly, cross-referencing every detail with historical records. The shape of the conning tower, the arrangement of the hull, it all pointed to one conclusion. After all those years, the Albacore had finally been found. The wreck lay silent, a ghost of its former self, but the evidence was clear. The mystery of its disappearance had been solved, and the story of the USS Albacore could finally be told. For 79 long years, the families of the USS Albacore's crew lived with a hollow ache, a question mark where there should have been a period. Then, at last, the discovery came, a quiet but profound answer to decades of wondering. The wreckage, found deep beneath the waves, finally gave them a place to direct their grief, a tangible piece of history to hold on to. No longer just names on a memorial, their loved ones had a resting place, a story that could be told with certainty. For historians, it was more than just solving a mystery. It was reclaiming a chapter of courage. The Albacore's service, once a footnote lost to time, now stood vividly in the record. Her final patrol, her crew's sacrifice, could be honored with the weight they deserved. Preserving her story wasn't just about the past, it was about ensuring that future generations would remember the cost of freedom, the price paid by those who never came home. The discovery didn't just bring closure, it brought meaning. The Albacore's legacy, once adrift in uncertainty, was now anchored in truth. And for the families at last, there was peace in knowing. The USS Albacore wasn't just a ship, it was a pioneer, a trailblazer that pushed the boundaries of what was possible beneath the waves. Its crew, men of courage and skill, sailed into the unknown, testing the limits of technology and human endurance. They didn't just serve, they shaped the future of naval warfare, proving that innovation and bravery go hand in hand. But their story isn't just about the past. It's a reminder of the sacrifices made so others could follow, the lessons they learned, the risks they took. They're part of a legacy that still guides us today. We owe it to them to remember, to honor their service, and to carry forward the spirit of exploration and dedication they embodied. So let's take a moment to salute the Albacore and its crew. Their legacy isn't just in the history books, it's in the very fabric of the fleet that sails today. And as long as we remember, their story will never fade. The USS Albacore wasn't just a submarine, it was a pioneer, a vessel that pushed the boundaries of what was possible beneath the waves. Its sleek experimental design set the stage for the future of naval warfare, proving that innovation could thrive even in the cold, dark depths of the ocean. But more than its steel and rivets, it was the crew who brought her to life. Men who worked in tight quarters, their dedication and skill turning a cutting-edge concept into a reality. They faced the unknown with courage, testing new technologies and tactics that would shape the submarines of tomorrow. Their legacy isn't just in the records they set or the missions they completed, it's in the lives they touched, the lessons they passed on, and the foundation they laid for generations of sailors to come. The Albacore may rest quietly now, but the spirit of her crew lives on in every submarine that cuts through the water, carrying forward the same determination and pride.